Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Kat. As you can tell from the title, this is going to be a very different video than my others. It is completely a life update video and some just chit chat about my recent reflections. If you like such casual chat, just let me know below. And if you have some time right now and just want to rewind and listen to a friend, grab some coffee or tea and let's dive right in. So I have a few life-changing announcements, but as I don't want to get this video too long, I'm going to divide that into kind of two videos. So first, today, as the title shows, I am pregnant and will have a baby boy this September in the middle of the Texas brutal summer heat, of course. But I'm actually happy that the whole process kind of happens during the warm month because I just cannot handle any cold weather and I cannot imagine, wearing just multiple layers during pregnancy. So now it's June and of course Texas is getting really hot, but I'd rather, this heat than snow, for example. So last month, for example, there were a few days that were below 70s and it was chilly for me. So that's also one of the reasons I cannot move to Northeast, like Boston, New York, or even North, Canada. I just cannot deal with the cold or the snow. But if it's 80s or even 90s outside, then I can wear a dress and not burden myself with pants. So back when my belly was not too obvious, the pants were already kind of tight and a burden to me. And now as I'm going to be almost 6 months, the dress is probably the only option for me. And regardless if you're a man or a woman, you will have someone in your life going through such life-changing moments. And please be nice to them. There are a lot going on within the pregnancy body. Gaining weight, having the mood swings or strong cravings at a weird time like midnight. It's just, not their fault. So I have to say I'm a very rational person. My MBTI is ENTJ, which I do think is pretty true, and I like everything to be very organized and never judge things based on my emotions. But pregnancy did throw me off a few times in the past few months. So not to mention a person who's a a feeling type. So if you or your loved ones are going through such changes, comment below and I would love to share your joy or frustration. But again, please be nice to yourself or others. Oh, and why my title says a dragon baby? Because I am Chinese, so we have Chinese zodiacs, and for each year, there's a zodiac. And for people who don't know, 2024 is the year of dragon, thus the dragon baby. And among Chinese or ethnic Chinese, at least, the dragon is the only imaginary zodiac among the 12 zodiacs. So for example, others would be like rat, monkey, horses, sheep. And the dragon represents the power, prosperity, and wealth. And basically, pretty much everything is good associated with dragon. And this is kind of opposite to the Western beliefs of, the dragon being a little bit destructive with fire, But typically back in the Asian Chinese dynasties, only the kings or royals could wear clothes with kind of the dragon. Let's say the king have the gold dragon embroidered on their clothes. But anyways, this basically translates to Chinese love dragon babies. I already know like 3 of my friends who are Chinese, so ethnic Chinese, having babies this year. It will be a lot of competition, of course, when our babies go to school or try to get a girl if they're a boy. But we're still very happy for this baby to come. And as I mentioned, I'm having a boy because I decided to find out baby's gender as early as possible. And of course, this is a very personal choice. Typically, you can find out baby's gender around 20 to 22 weeks when you do an anatomy ultrasound. Or of course, you can surprise yourself until the delivery and just keep everything gender neutral. However, again, personal choice, we want to know early, so that we did that at around 10 weeks when the doctor took my blood and we did a test called NIPT, which stands for non-invasive prenatal testing. And what the clinic does is they take your blood sample and then just test for chromosomal abnormalities of the baby. That's when you know if, for example, trisomy 21 or Down syndrome, such chromosomal abnormalities occurs in your baby. And that is the route we went for, because you can also know the gender at the same time. You can also opt in for genetic testing, which is to screen if the mother, in my case, me, is the carrier of any common diseases that is caused by recessive genes. If you know any basic genetics, you know how it works. So for example, a very common one in the United States is cystic fibrosis. I could be a asymptomatic individuals, but I'm still a carrier of that gene, and that recessive gene could pass down to my kid. And if my partner also have that, also recessive, and then pass down to my baby, then even though neither of us have the symptoms, the baby could have that disease. And the genetic testing is to rule out any of those circumstances. So I also did that. And in this case, if the mother's all fine, then there's no need to test for the father. Anyways, I was very intrigued by all these tests because, I'm a geneticist to a degree. So I did all the testing that I could. Again, a very personal choice. Now I'm almost 6 months into the pregnancy, meaning I'm almost at the end of my second trimester. And I have to say, I'm definitely one of the blessed ones, because I have not had any, symptoms like the morning sickness or just sickness in general. My appetite definitely changed during my first trimester, but nothing weird happened. It was not very bad. The biggest problem I had probably was just a little bit uncomfortable after 8 at night, and woke up kind of more at night, and just sleep a lot in general, and that's about it. So I heard many of my friends had nausea, they couldn't eat, they have to have ice cream all the time. And I know the first trimester could be a pain, but I feel really lucky that I didn't have to go through any of those. And the second trimester, as they say, the golden period of pregnancy, as you're kind of done with the first trimester sickness, but your belly is not too big yet, so you can still enjoy the pregnancy. Versus the third trimester, your belly is really big, it's really hard to move, and it hurts to move. And I'm definitely enjoying my second trimester. I'll keep you updated when the baby comes, and just how difficult the third trimester is, I guess. And if you are going through a big life change, such as pregnancy or any other life-changing moments, please comment below. And I hope we can support each other through those difficult moments. So now I want to change topic a little bit and talk about just my feelings and reflections in general in the past 6 to 9 months. So I feel like I still cannot fully grasp the concept that I will be a mom soon, Of course, this is definitely a planned pregnancy, but it is the idea that, I will be responsible for another human being's life for the next decades. Even, he become adults, I'm still responsible, right? It just sounds very strange to me. I feel like I've been living for myself for the last 30 years. And I'm not sure if I have the ability to carry another human being through this kind of chaotic world. Of course, they say all parents kind of screw up, just in different ways, because no one is perfect, obviously. But I just hope that my child knows that though he has an Asian parent, all I want for him is, to be healthy and happy, and no pressure of being a high achiever, but just a normal and happy, loving human being. I know that choosing to bring a baby to this world carries a lot of responsibilities, but I think it is something that I want to do, my partner want to do, and our family want to do. So a lot had gone through my mind in the last 6 to 9 months or so. So first, I think preparing for pregnancy and being pregnant is a huge step, regardless if you're man or woman. It's life-changing. And I see some of my friends decide to not have kids and then change their minds later, or vice versa. Some of them don't want a kid and are living their lives. So I think similar to choosing your own career path, choosing to have a kid or not is really, really difficult. I struggled for many, many years to decide if I want a kid. But life is essentially a lot of choices. I don't think any of us can figure out the playbook of, a happy life. But in the end, you want to make a choice that you will not regret the results. Also, I think we should really be grateful for what we have and fight for what we want. I see some of my friends trying so hard to get pregnant, but they can't. I see some of my friends having a kid, but the kid has some health issues. But what I see the most from them is they trying their best and fight for their kids or fight for having their kids. So one of my friends finally got pregnant after 3 years of trying and multiple miscarriages, multiple rounds of IVFs. The other friend gathered all the publications and papers talking about the disease their kid has and trying to find, all the clinical trials they could try. So from them, I really see courage, I see sacrifice, and I see persistence. I truly see the power of being parents. I am grateful that my pregnancy so far has been smooth, and I'm grateful that my family has my back. I used to be just, focusing on myself, my self-growth, but now as I will be a mother of my child, I will fight for his life and his happiness, and I think it's a very, very beautiful moment and realization. Lastly, I have realized how important the family is than work itself. You might have heard from different social media that corporate America doesn't really care about you as a worker, as an employee. And before, I don't believe that. Before, I think if you show enough value to the company, you are important, you matter. But now I probably did change my mind. No matter how much you think you are irreplaceable, you are. Disclaimer here, I didn't personally go through all that, but I've heard enough at this point of my life. I do want to focus more on my family and my new chapter. So I will share you what I've been doing in my next video, as I have left my life science consulting job a few months back. That said, I want to let you guys know that I plan to diversify my channel, so it is not limited to just career development. Like my channel's banner said, it is PhD and beyond. So I want to add some other non-career related contents on my channel. So I started this channel thinking to help anyone with their career choices outside of academia. Now I think I'm probably more mature that I think life is hard in general, and there are just so many choices nowadays which make it even harder. Yes, I was naive and optimistic in the past, in my ivory tower, so to speak. I was very much focused on the study, the school, and pursue a PhD and work afterwards. But now I realize there are just so many other difficult choices beyond the work, and actually work to me is easier than those other choices. Like back then, I knew I like consulting and I want to leave academia, so I figured out myself how to reach out to people, how to interview, and in the end became the first graduate student from my lab in decades who didn't do a postdoc. But life, man, is unpredictable. Last 6 months or so have been so different from my past 30 years of my life. And that, my friends, changed one's perspective. A lot of things I thought was so important in my life became just not so important anymore. So I hope my perspective and choices in life can also be conveyed through this channel, and hopefully can also be helpful to some of you. At the same time, I want to record my new chapter with this channel as well, so please stay tuned. Again, thank you so much for being here with me and listen to me. Let me know if you have any recent reflections to share. I would love to hear from you. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.